you for joining the PD Champions podcast. I'm Erica Branch, the Director for Parkinson Support Center. Today I'm going to introduce you to Richard Thomas. He's one of our newest constituents who's been recently diagnosed. Richard is a participant of the Feet to the Fire Writers Workshop and also several of our exercise programs. Richard, thank you for joining us today. We'll start with your diagnosis. How long have you been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease?
I think I was diagnosed in June of 2017, so it's been about a little over a year.
Can you tell us, how has your transition been accepting that you have Parkinson's disease?
Well, it came as somewhat of a shock. I knew that something was wrong, and my family doctor suggested that I might have Parkinson's. And then when I went to the neurologist and he confirmed that I did, then it was just a matter of adjusting and figuring out what to do about it.
The diagnosis period for a Parkinson's individual varies. I've asked Richard to share his process and exactly how long it took for him to find out he had Parkinson's disease.
Well, my family physician assumed that that was the problem, and the neurologist confirmed it. So I'd say within a month or so, I went to the neurologist and then found out that it was in fact Parkinson's.
As we know, isolation can be an emotional side effect of Parkinson's disease. We were able to get Richard's insight as he experienced isolation himself.
When I recognized by watching myself interact with people that I became a little shy about it. Specifically, when our book group met, I found that I would tend to hang back and sort of isolate myself a little bit. And then I decided I would see what would happen if I just admitted to people that this was what was going on for me. And I was really surprised at how many people knew about Parkinson's and were very understanding. Once I began to tell people what my issue was, I got a lot of support. Well, to me, it was knowing that I was a little different, that I felt self-conscious about my speech pattern, my physical gait, my facial expressions. They call it a masking effect. The inability to show emotion in your facial expression. And I was aware that these things were going on, and there was part of me that just felt badly about it, and I just didn't feel like I could be as outgoing as I had before. I began to meet other people who mentioned the Parkinson Center. So that interaction with those people led me here, and I'm so glad that I came because your programs have really been helpful, especially the writing program.
There were 10 participants for the Feet to the Fire Writers Workshop. Each person experienced some form of hesitation, whether it be handwriting, voice, speech. Richard was one of those who overcame his isolation, his fears about the program, and he's actually adapted pretty well to the group, so much so that they're continuing to meet even after the program is over.
I was a college instructor and administrator for many years, and I loved group work. I also became a minister later in my career, and groups were one of the things I really enjoyed working with. And this group has taken on a life of its own, as you know. I would like to think that it will continue to meet, and we will continue to reinforce what we've learned. And some of the writing skills are just amazing. I don't know if you've read any of the contributions, but these folks are really good. And I think what happened in that group was that we began to get comfortable with one another, and the more we shared our little clips of life, we began to develop some real relationships there. Been very supportive of each of us, and a wonderful experience. I am most appreciative of this center and the community in general that's so supportive of people with Parkinson's. As a minister, I learned that Louisville has a great 12-step community, a lot of support there. And when I found out that this center existed, I was just so pleased that you and other people offer so many programs.
During my interview with Richard, I had to give him credit for being instrumental in starting a movement throughout the Parkinson's community. The support center is now receiving letters, notes daily from our constituents that say, I have Parkinson's disease, this is how I'm living with it, and this is what I'm doing to fight my fight. Richard is a part of that, and we thank him and everyone who has been participating and giving themselves to the Parkinson's community.
Well, thank you for that. I'll always remember one of the first groups I went to was Dennis. He has a men's group. And I went to that men's group, and in the process of the presenter talking, somebody asked Dennis a question. And he got this look on his face like, and he admitted, I forgot, I don't know. And the people around him said, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. And I thought, I've had that issue. And it's so nice to be a part of this group of people that understand that sometimes we forget. And sometimes we have issues. It's a feeling of being connected, that somebody understands. And that is what I think has been delightful in the contacts I've made with you, the Feet to the Fire group, and other contacts.
As a Parkinson's buddy, Richard has offered himself to be a resource to someone who's newly diagnosed. Just this week, we were able to pair Richard with a gentleman who was diagnosed within the last 3 days. They met for the first time here at the center. Hear about this experience.
You had talked to me about being a buddy to this person. He walked in the room, and I volunteered my name and introduced him to the other people in the group. There were four of us there. And all of the other 3 people immediately offered phone numbers. Dennis offered to get his email to let him know when his men's group met. And suddenly he was just part of the group. And we asked him if he'd like to come back and be part of the Feet to the Fire writing group. He said he would, so he's
Wonderful family.
Yeah.
Thank you to our PD Champion donors. You make this possible. We're able to provide the PD Champions podcast and several of the ongoing programs that we offer to the community each week. As you can see, it is definitely making an impact in the lives of those who have Parkinson's disease. Richard is the perfect example.
Well, I would suggest coming here, getting on your newsletter, or your email list. Well, it was really helpful to me to know that I could come here and be accepted and meet other people that have the same issues. It's a great resource. I can't thank you enough for all that you do here. The fact that you knew this lady that was working with older people and writing the Feet to the Fire, and the fact that you invited her to offer a course, that was wonderful. Being on your mailing list, you also keep me informed of other things that are going on. I'd say the thing that helps me the most is my wife, my caregiver. She has got an awesome attitude, and she's always been positive about everything. There are times when I get a little down, and she lifts me up. There are times when I need support, and I find it here and in other groups, and it can be a little scary at times, but if you're willing to reach out and not be shy, there are resources like this one which are wonderful. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you for viewing our PD Champions podcast. I'd like to thank Richard Thomas and his lovely wife Judy for lending him to us.